Hey guys, Kevin here. So as you can read from the title, this is a new type of video series where I point out the major problems of an anime while still giving it a few praise so it doesn't sound overly biased. Today on the agenda, the problems with Golden Time. Spoilers ahead. Produced by JC Staff, Golden Time is a romantic comedy series originally created by Yui Horie, whose other works include, you've guessed it, Toradora. Now, before I go on saying my Golden Time isn't as good as Toradora, I'll surprise you by saying that I actually prefer the first half of Golden Time over Toradora's. The reason being is that Golden Time is a more ambitious take on the romantic comedy genre, as it doesn't follow a strict formulaic path. Being set in a university, what Golden Time does better than Toradora is that the character relationships initially feel more natural and less stiff, as the characters are more mature and don't feel like rehashes of typical tropes. Accompanied with the great comedy equivalent to Toradora's.
The fuck, Kevin? Golden Time's comedy is shit.
The first half of Golden Time has a lot going and very little wrong with it. The only minor problems I did have with it was that the relationships between characters felt slightly too fast-paced, as shown by the first 4 episodes of how Coco was insanely obsessed with Mitsuo and that she kept pestering him to go out with her. Although not long, Mitsuo outright rejects and declines Coco's affection that she's given her over the years. Now, it's not the obsession that Coco has I have a problem with, it's more of how she handles the rejection. Sure, she does cry and gets depressed over it, but being able to fully recover over one night seems awfully out of place. I'm not saying it's impossible, but keep in mind that Coco had spent most of her life fawning over him. I find it hard to believe that Coco would give up on him so easily, and this raises the question, why didn't Mitsuo reject her earlier if he was fed up? Nevertheless, I still respected it for actually starting, managing, and breaking a relationship. Even the backstories of Linda and Banri were handled quite well. We actually cared for them to an extent, and this brought conflict to not necessarily the characters, but to us, the viewers. We're shown both sides of the female character relationships, and this in turn creates internal drama. While albeit somewhat over-dramatized, the way it portrays how hard it is to maintain a relationship is quite appealing in that sense. All is going well until the second half, where the writing just turns into complete shit. Unlike the first half where the characters were believable, the second half makes the characters seem annoying and just outright stupid. They make terrible decisions that just causes fake drama to occur multiple times. First, let me start with Coco's character. Yes, she is a character who makes irrational decisions based on her emotions, but you can only go so far without making the reasons sound plain retarded. I'll give you an example. At episode 16, the characters almost experienced a car crash due to Coco falling asleep at the wheel. When Banri confronts her about the incident, she's found depressed on her bed and blames herself for the accident. Now, Coco blaming herself is believable because it was her responsibility, but what happens next is completely out of nowhere. Due to her terrible driving, Coco wants to break up with her friends and her boyfriend. Fucking what? That's like me going, Glenn, I have to tell you something.
What is it, Kevin?
We're gonna have to break up.
I can change, I can be 2D, I can be anime, I can be Soon, I can be Deer, I can even be Fuinari! Whatever you want, I can be it. Kevin!
I'm sorry, Glenn. It's just because I'm so shit at driving. I've lost everything. I'm sorry, Coco's bad driving has nothing to do with the relationships she has in her life. Even if you argue the point that she doesn't want to endanger anyone else, that's going under the assumption she won't ever be in a dangerous situation in her life again, which is of course not practical. And in the same conversation, yes, the same conversation, Coco says she had a dream of Banri abandoning her on an empty road, and that's why she wanted to break up. Let me reiterate this. Coco had a dream where Banri drove off without her, and so she wants to break up with him in real life. Fucking flawless. It's so dumb! If you're gonna create drama, at least make it believable because other people will see through this shit. However way you look at it, it just feels like the characters make unreasonable decisions for the sake of creating fake drama. This is also repeated in episode 22 where Coco breaks up with Banri again for no apparent reason, or actually, I don't know what they were thinking, but the character consistency and dialogue are just laughable. And speaking of character consistency, due to Coco, the other characters are dragged down to her level. You remember how Coco almost killed everyone? Well, the characters also blame themselves for the accident, and the logic behind it is baffling.
私が怪我なんかしたから大騒ぎになっちゃって。
What? How is it your fault in any way? You got hurt because of the accident. Not getting hurt wouldn't have stopped the accident.
俺も責任感じてる。まだ運転慣れてない高校止めるべきだった。
Going by that logic, no new drivers would ever drive. The confession scene in episode 16 is so stupid, but what's even worse, what completely destroys the show, is Ghost Banri. Fuck Ghost Banri. While yes, Ghost Banri was also in the first half of the show, he never had any influence over the actual story. He was always just a bystander in a story that he couldn't control. But over time, Ghost Banri slowly started having influence on the actual story, which makes no goddamn sense. Making Ghost Banri have control over the weather and traffic? Who thought this was a good idea? In the previous episodes, Golden Time showed no signs of supernatural elements. Ghost Banri was meant to be a contrast between Banri's past self and his present self, but even that is shoved up by what happens next. At episode 20, Banri, in the middle of a festival, regains his memory before the accident, but that's technically wrong, because he doesn't regain his memory, he switches personality to Ghost Banri. Here's where the story makes no sense. It was said that in the start of the series, Banri had suffered from amnesia, however, the show is objectively wrong. Amnesia is partial memory loss, although when you regain those lost memories, you don't lose your present memories. However, as shown in Golden Time, when Banri regains his memory, his present memories after the accident are lost. That's not how fucking amnesia works, Golden Time. What you have there is dissociative personality disorder, where a person switches between multiple personalities, but then they even portray that wrongly. At episode 23, Coco goes up to Banri, says hi, and even asks him what's wrong. You know what he does? Just sits there. Just fucking sits there. Coco then runs off assuming Ghost Banri had taken his place, but a few seconds later 2D-kun goes up to him and asks him what's wrong. You know what he answers?
高校いたのか。気がつかなかった。
What the fuckity fuck? Is he meant to be Ghost Banri? I don't think so, because any normal person would have replied to Coco. My guess is he was playing a retard. Oh wait, that's the entirety of the second half. Well fucking done, Golden Time. It's like you wanted to have shit writing. In other news, during the same episode, in a record-breaking 95 seconds, Banri regains his memory again. Then the dreaded episode 24 happens. Banri loses and regains his memory twice in one episode. Twice. I think the writers just stopped trying at this point, but it's not over yet. The infamous Ghost Bridge appears, where anything can happen. Banri and Ghost Banri can somehow talk to each other. I'm not even going to point out how that's not possible, and for more salt in the wound, Linda talks to Ghost Banri when there's clearly two Banris on the bridge. Oh shit, Doctor Who! Bullshit happens, everything gets solved, and they live happily ever after. Golden Time's last episode is one of the most cheesiest, cliched happy endings pulled off in the most shittiest way possible. The last episode literally makes zero amounts of sense. People say you can't compare Golden Time to Toradora because Golden Time is about maintaining a relationship while Toradora is about starting one. This is somewhat true, but only because Golden Time has shit writing, reusing subplots over and over again. Like, could you not think of any other conflict besides using the Ghost Banri bullshit? I guess not, and that's why Golden Time is a mediocre show. So the next time anyone says Golden Time is better than Toradora, show them this video because they're wrong.